Welcome back all my aspiring pattern makers and my future fashion designers. In this video today, I am going to show you how to transform an oversized dress of yours into a totally different new dress that is going to cinch you in at the waist and it's going to fit you much better. Sometimes we go shopping and we see a dress that we really love and it is big around the waist area for us, and we don't want to leave this outfit because we really love it. So I'm here to tell you that instead of simply using that tie string that is provided for you and then you see all that puckering that's going on, you can simply transform this dress that is oversized into a smaller size that is going to fit you around the waist and make you look much better. So in this tutorial today, I'm going to show you what you can do to make that waist area cinched in and create a different look for the outfit for you. Before we get started, we are going to measure the waist area. And the waist area would be this area of the outfit. When I measure it, I literally got 20 going across for the front, because if you notice, if I go all the way here, I will have 20 going across, and you can fold this part, right? And you will see I have 20 going across here. And for the back, you will notice that for the back, when I measured it by the waist area, that's where these two loops are, then for the back, all I'm getting for the back is 18 inches. And this is my 18 inches here. So for the front is 20 inches and for the back is 18 inches. So the next thing that you're going to do, you're going to plan accordingly. So let's write this down. Waist front is 20 inches and for the back it is 18 inches. You will now measure your actual waist, which when I measure the actual waist, I got 26, and I'm going to add half an inch for ease. So I'm going to make it 26.5. I like to do that, give a bit more. Okay, 1 inch to me is a little bit too much, but half inch ease is fine. So if you notice on the back, there are 2 darts already on the back of the outfit. So what I suggest for you to do is that, because you have your actual waist, which is the 26.5 inches, and if I divide that by 2, I'm going to get 13 and a quarter inches. So what I could do, I can make the front 13 and a half, and I can make the back 13 inches. That would still give me my total of 26.5 inches. Then we need to plan accordingly. So if the difference between my actual back waist, which is 13, and on the dress, which is 18, there's a difference there of 5 inches. And the difference between my front waist, my actual front waist, which is 13.5, and the front of the actual garment is going to be taking away my 13.5 from my 20. I'm going to get 6.5 inches. So with this now, we can plan accordingly. For the back, because we have a dart here and a dart here, so 2 darts are on the back, and then you have this piece, I would plan to create 2 tucks on either side of the center back. So you can place a tuck between the first dart and the side seam, and same thing for the other side, and then in between the 2 darts you can place 2 tucks. So that will give you 4 tucks total right there. Because you have that 5 inches and you need a total of 4 tucks for the back, right? What you can do, since it's 5 inches, and if you do half of this, right, you're going to get like 2 tucks from the 5 inches here. 2 of that would be 2.5. So you're going to divide the 5 by 2, which is going to give you 2.5 inches. And then you are also going to further divide the 2.5 inches by 2, and that is going to give you 1.25 inch. So the tuck is going to be 5/8 of an inch on either side, making a grand total of 1.25 inches in between. Now let's plan for the front. For the front, I'm going to measure here, and I will get 9.25 inches, and for the other side it's going to be 9. Let's measure it. So this, I have 9.25 inches, and the buttonhole placket is literally 1 5/8. So that would be 1 5/8 right there. Being that the front waist is bigger than the back waist, and my front waist is 13.5, the difference there is the 6.5. What you can do, we can actually plan for 3 tucks on the left side and 3 tucks on the right side. So there's a total of 6 tucks for the front, and for the back is a total of 4 tucks. All right, so we can do that. So with the 6 tucks, this is what we're going to do. The difference here is a 6.5 inch difference on the waist, because remember, you're taking your waist measurement, and I'm going to divide that by 2, and I'm going to get 3.25 inches. Now with that 3.25 inches, I'm going to further divide that by 2, and I'm going to get 1 5/8 of an inch. So with that 1 5/8 of an inch, that should comprise the 3 tucks that you're looking for. So the first tuck, so one tuck could be a 1/2 inch, the next one could be another 1/2, and the third one could be 5/8 of an inch. It is up to you where you want to place these tucks, because you can do a 1/2, a 5/8, and then a 1/2 on the other side. So meaning that the 5/8 is in the middle. Or you can do it where the 5/8 is towards the side seam. It's your choice. But for me, I think I'd rather do the latter part, which is 5/8 in the middle, and you have the 1/2 inch width towards the center front and also towards the side seam. So now we know that the first tuck is going to be 1/2 inch, the second one is going to be 5/8, and the third one is going to be also a 1/2 inch. All right, so that means that that's the actual width when you form the tuck. I'm not talking the total width that we're getting. The total width that we're going to get when we add these up, 1 inch here for the first one, 1.25, and then you have 1. So that's the total width of each of the tucks. But remember now, because we have our 6.5 inch difference here, this is just literally going to give me 3.25 here. So that means I'm going to be left with an extra 3.25 inch. Now with that 3.25 inch that I'm left with, you can do this one of 2 ways. So the first thing that you can do, because remember now we're dealing with 9.25, you can have the distance between this front right here towards the center front and the first tuck 2 inches for the distance there. Then you have the 1 inch tuck. Then you can do a space of 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to put SP for space here. Then you have the other tuck, which is 1.25, and then you can have the other space. All right, so the second tuck is at 1.25, and then you have the second space, which is going to be 1 inch, and then this is going to be a tuck. This is going to be a tuck, and the third tuck is going to be 1 inch, and then you're going to have your 2 inch space here towards your side seam. So once you have that, let's measure from under the bust area. If you look at the figure right here, you'll see where it was lining up with the bust area, and I measured it on the individual, and the distance here is 9 3/8. So what I would suggest for you to do, and you can have it where you can do 2 inches below the pocket, and then you can do, say, 3 inches up from here. You can choose the length of your tuck. So what I suggest for you to do is turn your outfit on the wrong side, and then we're going to form the tucks. This is where the side seam at the waist is. This is the waist. Now we are going to measure, and I'm going to get 2 inches below. You can use your ruler for this, right? That's the seam line right there. And you can do your 2 inches below. So I just draw that line there because that's going to be the height of your tuck going up where you're going to stop, and then 3 inches from the bottom. So for my 3 inches, I'm getting my other ruler here because it's 1 inch width, and that is going to carry through, and I'm going to simply mark this. Make sure that you are doing this on the wrong side. You don't want to do this on the right side. You can measure, as I told you before. Notice, well, this is actually giving me 4 5/8. That is fine. You don't need any more than that. This is almost like 2 inches up from the waist, and that 2.5 inches or 2 5/8 inches below the waist. All right, so that is fine. So once you have that, then you are going to do the same thing for the back. All right, you can carry it out and do the same thing for the back, or you can just put the other front kissing it and then creating that mark also. You can do that for it. Okay, so I'm laying it on top of each other here, right? And then you can have the mark there. So you can do that. Here is a mark when you do that, or you can just go ahead and measure your 2 inches down from that line, draw your line across. That's going to be your mark, and then you are also going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, as I said it before, with our planning, I want to have the first tuck 2 inches from the side seam. So we are going to find on this side the waistline, which is right here. You can put a mark there, or you can put a pin. I like to choose to put a mark because sometimes by sewing the pin will fall out. So I have my mark there. So I'm going to do 2 inches from there, and I'm going to create my first set of tucks for my front piece. So 2 inches from the side seam, and I love this ruler because this is a 2-inch ruler, and I can do this and just create my line there. And remember, the width of that first tuck is going to be 1 inch wide total. But when you fold it, it's going to be ½ inch. So you can do that. Then the space is going to also be 1 inch, right? And then the other tuck is going to be a total of 5/8 going across on the fold. So it's going to be 1 1/4 inch. So you can do that. And then you have another space again for 1 inch. And then you can do another inch away, and that is going to give you your last tuck. And now look, voila, there is your 2-inch space from the front, also the edge of the overlapping placket piece. So what you have to do next is that you're going to form your tuck. So this is your first tuck. Make sure when you fold it and you are lining it up, the pin is going through on both sides. So do that. And this, it wasn't going through on both sides. So what you have to do, make sure you get it precise, because you want it to be precise. All right. You want it to be exactly that ½ inch. You don't want it to be greater. You don't want it to be less. Okay. All right, that was off a little bit. So it's very important when you are pinning that, look, you are pinning on the line. All right. and you can do this. So what I would suggest, now you do the same thing for the next tuck, which the next tuck is going to be 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so it didn't go through on the other end. Notice here it is off, so you have to be very careful and just make sure that you have it where it is going to go exactly on the line. All right, so you have it like that. You pin, and then you are going to do the same thing for the other part. Here you are, voila, that's perfect. Perfectamente, yay. Like that, okay? And then you will do the third tuck. So, not bad, close enough. There you are. And you're going to pin the other one. Yep, just like that. Just like music. Ooh. There you go. So these are your tucks, okay? You will see them on the outside of the front. This is what it's going to look like. You will have the fullness towards the center front. Let's plan accordingly for the back piece. After we plan the back piece, we can come back and do the same thing that we did for the left side, for the right side of the front piece. So once again, what I'm going to do, because I had my mark here for my waist on that side, I'm going to just put it on this side so it is visible. And I'm going to do it like this. Okay. And I want 3 inches down and 2 inches up. Remember now that this already has 2 darts on the back. So I'm going to place a tuck in between the first dart and the side seam, okay? And in order for me to do that, I need that tuck at the back to be 5/8 of an inch. And that is based on the measurement that I did over here, where I took my 5-inch difference from the actual waist and the waist measurement at the back, and I got 5-inch difference. And then what I did, I divided that by 2, which gave me a 2.5, and then I further divide that by 2 again, which gave me 1.25 inches, and 1/2 inch and a quarter is 5/8. So the width on the fold is going to be 5/8, but the actual tuck, when you are forming it out, is going to be 1.25 inches. So because the distance that I have here between the side seam and the dart is 5.25, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go halfway there, which half of 5.25 is going to be 2 5/8. So 2 5/8 is going to be right here. So that 2 5/8, what I can do, because I want my line to be straight, okay? Can't work with crooked lines now. Nope, not at all. So this is going to be like the center at the back, all right? So I'm going to work like this, right? This is going to be the center mark, but it's going to be the fold line, but I'm not going to go exactly at the fold line. I'm going to use broken line here, all right, for the fold, but I'm going to go 5/8 on either side of this, all right? And I need to also go 5/8 on either side of this. So total is 1.25. Remember now, I'm going 2 inches up, right? As a matter of fact, for the back, you can literally stagger it, all right? You can make it higher, like 2.5 inches is fine. And then for the bottom part, you can keep what you have, or you can just make it 2 inches. It's up to you. You can stagger it, all right? For the bottom part, because it's the butt area now, what I will do, I'll just do it like 2 inches below, or as a matter of fact, if you look at the line here, it's forming out, it comes in and it goes out, so you can literally like do 2 1/4 about and make that your line. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, so I have that line going across already. So 2 1/2 up, you know, and going like that. So let me extend this a little bit so we have that line for when we are forming the tucks. So this I have here, distance between these 2 darts. Oh, guess what? You see, this is what I'm talking about. If you look on this outfit, they have 1 dart fullness going towards the center back and 1 going towards the side seam. That is a no-no. Everything should be going towards the center back. So you can make that correction. So with the 7 3/4, it's going to be 3 7/8. So 3 7/8 is going to be your center back line. All right, that's your center back line, 3 7/8. I did say we are doing 5/8 each. So if I'm doing 5/8, which is 1 1/4 inch, and I have this to be almost 4, and which is 3 7/8, and I need 1 1/4 inch from 3 7/8. So 3 7/8 minus 1 1/4 inch is going to give you 2 5/8. Okay, because 1/4 inch is equivalent to 2/8. So 2 5/8. Once I have my 2 5/8, I can have the tuck halfway between that point. Okay, so what I need now, 2 5/8 is left. I can divide this by 2, or I could do it where, okay, maybe 1 is off by 1/8. That is fine, because if I divide this by 2, I can make one be 1 1/4 and the other one be 1 3/8, and that's fine. And it's up to you where you want to place it. For me, I'm going to do now 1 1/4 from here, from the center back, right? And I'm going to form it like this, 1 1/4 from the center back, and I'm going to draw that line, and then make that width, as I stated, 1 1/4. All right, and then what you should be left with here at the waist area on this side is 1 3/8. Okay, so that's what you should have, 1 1/4. So be careful, because sometimes, because of your chalk, it may give you a wider measurement. Be careful there. Same thing for here. So I'm going to do 1 1/4 going towards that left side, 1 1/4, and I'm going to draw my line, and then the width is going to be 1 1/4 again. The difference that should be left is 1 3/8. Yes, voila, perfect. So now you can form your tucks for the back. Okay, and here we are. Make sure it's going through. Yep, precise like that. There you go. And you're going to just do this. Okay, and then for the next one, so I stated, nope, that's off. See, so you need to have it exactly on the line, and that's why it's great to use the lines there. You need it to be precise, so make sure that you're using your lines. Okay, because you are going to sew on these lines, create your tucks. You are going to form out the next one. The next tuck is here. And it is off. You pleat it. Great. So that's your first set of tucks for the back, right? Fullness for your tucks goes towards the center back or center front. Please always do that, guys. All right. What you need to do next, right? So we have our two tucks. So this is the center back. Remember, don't forget that this is your center back. One on either side, one here, and then you are going to have the other tuck here. So you can create this to be your tuck. And you're going to do the same thing for the other side, okay? You can already see how it's forming out, right? And you can already see how it's going to be cinched in. And this is it. So you can see your outfit is already coming alive with all these tucks. And yep, it's going to be great. Yes. So now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew all of these. So here we have the tucks all pinned together and we are going to sew them now. So what you can do also, instead of sewing on this straight line coming down, you can go 1/8 of an inch in and come to the center, which is the waist area, and then go back out 1/8 of an inch to give you more room on the upper part of the waist. We would call it the underbust, which is underneath the bust area, and there's a difference there between that measurement and your waist. So that's why I'm suggesting you can go 1/8 of an inch towards the center fold of the tuck. So let's get started. So I'm going my 1/8 of an inch away from there, and I'm making sure that the needle is embedded into the fabric, and I'm pulling out the pin and I'm ready to sew. You're going to do a couple back stitching there, then come to the center, which is going to be your waist measurement, and then also start tapering to 1/8 of an inch away from that straight line. And you do another back stitching right there. And you will continue doing this for all of your tucks. Then you'll do it for the other two. Then this is the back, and this would be the actual side back, and then this would be towards the center back, which is going to be another one towards the center back of the fabric. So you have two tucks at the back, and you're going to do the same thing there. Go 1/8 of an inch. This is the tuck that's going to be 5/8 of an inch, so it's fine if you can do a half and a half. That is fine. Just make sure your needle is embedded as usual, and you back stitch, and then you come to the 5/8 mark, which is the center by your waist, and then you go out a little bit. Your waist measurement and the measurement 2 to 3 inches below the waist is not going to be the same distance, so that's why I suggest that you go out that 1/8 of an inch, and this is what it would look like. All right, and you would do that, and you will continue stitching. Going back to the front, you're doing the same thing again. You can go your 1/8 of an inch away from there. Okay, once again, embed your needle into that, and you just continue sewing here. This is what the final product looks like when all the tucks are stitched, and you would press it in one direction. This is the center back, and this is how the tucks are on the right side. If you want to create a different effect on this dress, you can also go ahead and top stitch along the edge of each of the tucks that we have created, and that will also give it another effect in terms of the look of the garment. Now we're going to take this over to the iron board. These two seams are the side seams, right? This is the loop for the belting that came with the dress. This one is obviously ripped apart. I'm going to sit, and then these were the two darts that came with the original dress, and these are the two tucks in between at the center back, and this is the other one on either side for the side back. Okay, and the front you have 3 tucks here. So now we're going to take this over to the iron board. Now we're going to iron the tucks with the fullness going towards the center front, and you can iron it from the wrong side to start with. After that, you can turn it over and iron it from the right side, and you would also iron it with the fullness going towards the center back. The next thing is that we are going to check the waist measurement of this dress now that we have created the tucks and it is ironed and ready to be worn. So remember, we started out with a waist measurement of 38 inches and the actual waist for the person was 26 inches, and we gave a little bit of ease. So I'm going to measure the front of the waist right here, and this is where the waist is, right at the loop. I'm going to go across. This is 13 and 3/8, but I'm not seeing the side seam, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold the tape measure here with the fabric, right? And I got here 13 and 5/8 for the front, all right? So the front waist is 13 and 5/8. Originally, the front waist was 20 inches. And for the back, I am going to measure this right now from here, okay? And the loop is here. And I'm actually getting 13 inches. There we are. See? 13 inches right there. So we have a total of 26 and 5/8 of an inch. The person's waist measurement was 26 and I gave the 1/2 inch waist. I guess with sewing and everything we gained an 1/8. That is fine, all right? So this is what the dress looks like with the tucks. Cinched in waist from an oversized dress. Okay? Fabulous. So in conclusion, now that you know how to modify an oversized dress to make it fit at the waist by applying tucks throughout the dress, and now you have a cinched in the waist, I hope that if you have a dress that is oversized, you might try this method so that your waist area can fit perfectly. Yes, it's going to give a different look, and since you have the pockets here, you may notice that you will have the tucks just laying to nothing right there, and that is fine. Another thing that you could have done is that you could have also stitched on the outside at the tucks, right, from right here where it starts to where it ends. You can top stitch that on all of the 6 tucks at the front and the 4 that we created at the back, and that will also give it a different look in terms of the styling. That being said, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And don't keep this video to yourself. Share it with others around the world so they too can transform their oversized dress into a dress that is going to fit nicely at the waist. Thank you for watching and see you soon on the next video to come. Bye now. Cheers.